Thank you for watching our vlog. We got to tell them to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Yes, and make sure they hit that what? Yes, the notification bell. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing this beautiful, oh my God, sunny day? It is around 60 some degrees outside today, and it's about 8:22, and I am headed in for my Tuesday shift, my Tuesday little cycle class, and I need to come up with a talk for our Tuesday talk and walk for next week. And I figured that I would come and give Nation's and I story, me and Nation's story, Nation and I's story of how he was born. Now, Nation was born on July 18th, 2002 in Maryland. Oops, he was, wow. Don't look at me, lady. You was over here in this lane. Whoa, okay, good morning. But Nation was born on July 18th, 2002. He was my fourth son born, and a little backstory: I have a bicornuate uterus, which means my uterus is shaped like a heart, so there's no way for the baby to pass through my walls because they're too small. So I can never deliver naturally, and none of my children were delivered naturally. They were all pre-planned cesarean C-sections. Now, I knew I was going to have a cesarean because I had went into my OB and we had scheduled a date. Oh, the day was the 14th of July. July 14th, me and my family were at then it was called Hollywood Video. We were at the video store and we were getting some videos, and I felt like leaking, but I didn't know until my oldest, Kai, he was like, mommy, and I thought my water had broke, so I went outside and I stood outside waiting for my husband, and he was like, no, it's blood. So I looked down and it's just like nothing but blood. So immediately we go back to the house, and not knowing that they were taking me to this hospital where I delivered all my other ones, but it wasn't the hospital that my OB was at. So that was the first discrepancy, was that my OB was not at this hospital to see me. So when I get to the hospital, of course I run down and I tell them, okay, I'm scheduled to have a cesarean. I believe that this was a Friday that I went to the hospital, and I'm trying to tell it was the 14th, and I'm telling them I'm supposed to have a cesarean. There's something wrong. I'm bleeding. I'm this. And they're really like, okay, yeah, okay. So we're gonna put you on this Pitocin, whatever that medicine is, I guess they were stopping my labor, or I don't know what that medicine is supposed to do, but it was not helping. I was literally in the bed like this because it hurt so much down there, and it was like I could feel him going deeper into my walls, and I knew something was wrong. Because of the way they were like, oh my God, we're not finding him on this, we're not finding him on that. So from the 14th till the morning of the 18th, I sat in a hospital room, in a hospital bed, nothing to eat. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't drink anything. I could only have ice chips. And it was horrible. It was so horrible. And the whole time, my OB, they're calling and talking to him, and he's telling them these things, and they're not even listening, to the point where when he was delivered, when I did go in for the cesarean and he was delivered, I actually flatlined. They had to resuscitate me. They had to bring me back. They didn't tell me this, but you know, when you have your own hospital records because of a lawsuit, you can see and you read what's in those records, and they lost me. Why? Because I told them that I could not deliver naturally. So this whole entire time, from the 14th to the 18th, he was steady going down in my walls, to where he had asphyxia to his brain. Okay? And he was dead. He was not breathing. He didn't take his first gasp of air until he was 11 minutes old. And what I remember is my friend was in the room with me, because we didn't think nothing was wrong. They didn't tell us anything was going to be wrong. We thought everything was good. She had her camera out, and I started, okay, they gave me the epidural, or the spinal tap, and I'm laying there and I'm like, wait a minute, I can't hear anything, but I can see everybody moving around me. Well, before I stopped being able to hear, I could see everybody moving around me, and I could see her looking like a panic, and she was just looking at me. And then I heard the doctor say, well, I got somewhere to be, something. He said something nasty, and then I couldn't hear anything, and then I blacked out. I don't remember anything else after that. When I woke up in the room, and usually when I would have my cesarean, the baby would be next to me. Well, I woke up and no baby. And all of these nurses and doctors are just standing in front of me, and they're just standing there looking at me, and they were like, okay, well, Mrs. Miller, because that's my maiden name, Mrs. Miller, we have some things to discuss. And I was like, well, where is my boyfriend? He's the father of my children. I don't want to hear any of this until he gets in here. So he didn't know anything about it, because it happened so fast. He thought everything was good, and my friend was in there. He's in the car asleep, because mind you, this is early in the morning that we had to be at the hospital, and that we were there in the first place. And he comes in, and they're like, well, your child could be brain dead. He could have cerebral palsy. He could be a vegetable, blah, blah, blah. They're just running down all of this stuff. He's going to spend months, maybe years in the hospital, in the NICU, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They're just sitting there they're standing there telling me all these things while I'm looking for the baby. He's in the NICU. He's on this breathing tube. He's on this. He's got a feeding tube, da-da-da-da. His ABGAR scores were at a 2. We don't know how he's going to do with everything. And I believe it says in my hospital records that we believe mom was in shock. And I do believe I was in shock, because none of this was expected. And I knew if they would have done what I asked them to do, which was to take him as soon as I got to the hospital, he would not have this disability. But everything happens for a reason, and he does. And he spent a total of 17 days in the NICU. He did not open his eyes, not narrow one time. Not even one time for us did he open his eyes in that hospital to see any of those people, to do anything. He was doing so well, and I would talk to him every day. I had to stay in the hospital a couple days. I believe I had to stay in the hospital for maybe 4 or 5 days, because they needed me to make a bowel movement before I could actually leave. So I think I was in for, technically a cesarean is 3 days, but I believe I was in there for 5, because I needed to have that bowel movement. So he's in the NICU for the 17 days, And on August 3rd, they discharged him. We were able to bring him home, which is my birthday. He came home on my birthday. And when we got him home and we told him, Nation, you are home, he opened up his eyes and he looked at us for the first time, for the first time ever. He waited until he got home, until he opened eyes and he looked. And from then on, I knew how special he was. I knew that he was, without even knowing that he was gone for a whole 11 minutes, I knew he was special. And come days go by, a couple months go by, and I'm like, why is and they didn't tell me at the hospital that he has cerebral palsy. They didn't give it a name. They didn't specifically say, okay, this is what your child has. You need to start doing this. They didn't say any of that. So months go by and I'm wondering why he's so tight, and I have to open and I have to sit there and hold both of my arms on his legs to hold his legs open, to change his pamper, to put his clothes on, and I gotta lift. He's so tight. So I'm like, why is he so tight? And back then we had AOL, so I'm looking on the internet and I'm like, okay, I think he has cerebral palsy. I really do think he has cerebral palsy. So mind you, this is months later, and I mean into the next year. April of 2003, I took Nation to his pediatrician, Dr. Shahan, in Maryland, and I told him, I said, well, you know, I think Nation has cerebral palsy. And yes, he did his checked him out and everything. It was like, you know what, Mom, I think you are right. He's spastic quadriplegic. That means all four limbs are just tight. They're spastic. They're so tight. And he does have cerebral palsy. So from then on, I kicked it into high gear and went to Social Security and started getting his medical assistance and started getting all the things that his Medicaid, because he needed special things. And at that time he had seizure disorder also, because they claimed that he had a seizure when he was born, so they put him on phenobarbital. And that's a whole nother video. But that is Nation's birth story. And the following day, my OB called me and told me, he was like, okay, I'm ready to, the ambulance is on the way, I'm getting ready to call the ambulance, we're coming to get you to deliver this baby. And I was like, Dr. Suda, I already delivered the baby, and they're telling me this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And he is the one who told me, you need to call a lawyer. You need to file a lawsuit. And I did. And this is where we are now. Nation is taken care of for the rest of his life because of hospital negligence, because they thought they were right, instead of listening to what I was trying to tell them, or listening to the OB who's been delivered all of my babies, who knows my body, knows me. So here we have a 16-year-old with cerebral palsy, who has a house, who has a car, who is taken care of for the rest of his life. And that is how I'm able to be, my family is able to be well off. It has not been easy. It has not been easy at all to take care of a child with a disability, a special need. And it's from mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all of those. It has not been easy, but it has been a gift. He is a gift because he brings so much love, joy. He's always happy. His teenage years have brought amongst a little snarkiness and a little attitude, but he's still lovable and happy and laughy, and he's just an angel, and he's to anybody he meets. And we are grateful for him. And I would love to have him be a normal kid, but he is a normal kid in his own eyes. He's normal. And that is what keeps me going every day. And that is my Tuesday talk about my nation, 7 Williams. Later. Yep, choking herself. No. Out the road. Yeah, you're choking yourself.
Speak with clarity, 'cause there's too much noise around us. Or maybe it's just me. There's treasure in the sea, yeah, but I'm just too dry to reach it. So speak sincerely. Around lately, the world seems to be the same. There's only room for the privileged and same.